What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast. This is Nate coming at you guys with the first mock draft of the 2024 mock draft season, baby. It is that time of the year. We are about 3.5 months out from the NFL draft. It's an exciting time for those of you not in the playoffs. For those of us in the playoffs, we're hoping we pick later than we're currently slated to. But that is neither here nor there. We're jumping right into this thing right now. I'm going to use Pro Football Focus's mock draft simulator. There's plenty of other ones out there. This is a good one I like using. Also, there will be no trades in this draft. This is a no-trade mock draft. So, let's get into this. Pick number 1. If the Bears aren't trading back, right? If I'm them, I probably trade back. But if they're not trading back, you have to go Caleb Williams right here. This has to be the pick at number 1. If you don't go with Caleb Williams and you stay at 1, that's a colossal failure because the amount of the haul you could get for Caleb Williams would be unbelievable. And you can get someone else like a Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3 if the Patriots are determined to come up. You can do a lot of things. But if you stay at 1, you have to take him. And that makes it easy for Washington because you made their decision for them. It's Drake May. It has to be Drake May here. I like both of these quarterbacks a lot. Caleb Williams will show you those flashes where he can when a play breaks down. Caleb Williams is a real problem for a defense because he can scramble, make throws on the run, hit someone deep. Any sort of broken play, Caleb Williams is your guy. Drake May, however, within a good offense, within the structure of the play, I think Drake May is a better quarterback. If you take both of these guys and drop them behind a top 5 offensive line and they can stay in the pocket and deliver throws, Drake May is better than Caleb Williams is, in my opinion. He's bigger, stronger, throws a better deep ball. Caleb Williams just gives you that added factor of being able to run around, and he's done it for several years, and so is Drake May. But I think it just depends on the situation you're going to. And Caleb Williams would step right in for Justin Fields and do similar things with the scrambling. Not as fast, but he could scramble around. Broken plays. DJ Moore will come open, and he'll hit him. Drake May, they're going to need to build that offensive line in Washington one way or the other. I mean, Sam Howell was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. So they're going to need to build up that offensive line. Hopefully they address that in free agency. But Sam Howell's not the guy. You don't have the guy on roster. It's not Jacoby Brissett. Give yourself a chance. Give the new head coach, that will probably be Eric Bieniemy, give him a shot and let him develop with Drake May. I think they could be fired together. Pick 3, Patriots. A lot of people are going to go quarterback here. They're probably thinking, oh, Jaden Daniels, great pick here. It's Marvin Harrison Jr., guys. Listen, as a Dolphins fan, I think Mac Jones stinks, and it's funny. Bailey Zappe's obviously not the guy. But Mac Jones looked good his rookie year, right? Let's not forget that. And also, who has he been throwing to the last 2 years? It's hard to look good when your best wide receiver is Devontae Parker. Ask Tua. We get it. We understand your pain, buddy. No, I don't think Mac Jones is some world-beating quarterback, but I don't know if Jaden Daniels is some world-beating quarterback either, to be blunt. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a difference maker at wide receiver. He would, day one, be the best receiver New England has had in a long time. In a long time. You want to know if Jones is the guy? You need to get him some weapons. He can't be throwing the ball to Boo Boo Smith-Schuster and Devontae Parker. That's just not going to cut it. You'll never have any good quarterback play with those wide receivers running the routes. I'm going Marvin Harrison Jr. at pick 3. Pick number 4 with Marvin Harrison Jr. off the board. This pick becomes Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors has been fantastic this year for LSU. He's got the size you want. He is about 6 feet. Crazy good stats, great route runner, someone that their quarterback, Kyler Murray, would enjoy having. He's not the burner. He's not the Hollywood Brown that they already have. He's somebody that will run the crisp routes. He'll be where you expect him to be when you expect him to be there. Big fan of Malik Neighbors' game. I just don't see him being over Marvin Harrison Jr., but, PFF gives him a 92.8 this year, guys. That's insane. 1,500 yards on the year, 14 touchdowns. What an unbelievable season out of Malik Neighbors. Big fan of his game. I like him going at pick 4. Chargers could maybe go wide receiver. I could see some people wanting that. I'm going with Joe Alt, tackle out of Notre Dame. Notre Dame just breeds stud offensive linemen, right? You've got Zach Martin. You got Quentin Nelson. You've got Liam Eichenberg. Just kidding on that last one. But seriously, they do just breed great offensive linemen. Joe Alt is massive. He is 6'8", 315 pounds, and he's only 20 years old. He's going to get his next contract at 25. There's your tackle for the next 15 years if you want. Just plug him in and play him. Stud offensive lineman. Big fan of his game. I like him a little more than I like Olu Fashanu. Next up on the clock here, the New York Giants. I like PFF's grading. I've done one of these on PFNs, and I don't agree with their grades as much. But I like Rome Odunze here. I like Rome Odunze a lot to the Giants. He brings something a little bit different to them. They went Jalen Hyatt last year. Rome Odunze is different. He's 6'3", 216 pounds, 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns this year. Unbelievable season between him and Michael Penix Jr. I think the Giants need to just continue to bring in weapons, man. If you want Daniel Jones to be the guy, you're going to pay him $40 million to be the guy. You need to put weapons around him because the current weapons just aren't going to cut it. So I like Rome Odunze there. And for Tennessee needs offensive linemen, and I love Olu Fashanu here. I think Olu's going to be very, very good. I do. I just like Joel a little bit better. But Olu's awesome. Going to be a great tackle in the league. You can just plug him right in. Him and Peter Skoronski for the next several years are good building blocks on that offensive line. Next up, Atlanta. Atlanta just fired Arthur Smith this morning as of January 8th. Atlanta did not use their talent last year, and even if they did, I don't think Desmond Ridder could get it done. Desmond Ridder is not someone who's going to win you any big games. He's just not. Is Jaden Daniels? I don't know, but I think you got to try. I think you got to give it a shot. Because if you cannot look, you did it last year. You looked your fans in the face and said, yeah, we think Desmond Ridder can win us the Super Bowl. We think he can get us where we want to go. You obviously lied. We all knew you were lying, and you did it anyways. I understand. You showed commitment to your guy that you drafted. I respect it. But you were very, very wrong. Jaden Daniels had an unbelievable season, Joe Burrow-like season at LSU this year, supported some great receivers, played with some great receivers. Put Jaden Daniels with these guys, with Drake London, with Bijan Robinson, with Kyle Pitts. Those are great weapons. I think Jaden Daniels could be really good in Atlanta, and they need a quarterback. Darn shame there wasn't one available this past. Oh, wait, Lamar Jackson was available. That's right. Moving on. Bears at pick 9, back on the clock. I wonder where they have this guy rated. Laiatu Latu. Okay, they've got him average draft 13, rank 17. I'm a big fan of Laiatu Latu's game. I know that he's getting knocked for injuries, but a 96.2 grade. Played 12 games this year. 15 sacks, 11 quarterback hits, and 38 hurries. He is a monster off the edge. If you can look past the medicals, which you should be able to considering he's played complete seasons last 2 years, he's a monster. He's my favorite. He's my number one edge rusher in this class. Big fan of his game. And I love that pick for the Bears there. Just double up with Montez Sweat and him. You didn't have any pressure at all until you brought in Montez Sweat. Now you want two of them. Now you have two of them. You have two of these guys. Latu's a monster. I would love him and Montez Sweat working together. Big fan of that pick for Chicago. Next up, we've got the Jets, and this needs to be the pick every time if you're the Jets. This has to be. I know you want the tight end. I know it. I can feel it. You all want Brock Bowers. No, be smart. You have to be smart. I'd love it if you're stupid, but you have to be smart. I like J.C. Latham out of Alabama. You need a tackle. Mekhi Becton has not been it. Dwayne Brown is old. Not it. I like J.C. Latham as a tackle prospect. I think he could be really, really good. Probably start out on the right side and they'll have to figure out what they're going to do at left tackle. But you've got to protect Aaron Rodgers. He's 40 years old, and he just is coming off of an Achilles tear. Like, you've got to protect that man if you want any hope next year at going where you want to go, which, like this year, was the Super Bowl for them. And they didn't get there because their offensive line failed them very, very quickly. You have to address that. If you don't address that, you're signing yourself up for failure. So really don't address that. But as a Jet, if you were a Jet fan, you should want that addressed quick. Minnesota on the clock here. And you already see what I'm doing. We're going QB. We're going Michael Penix Jr. for them. I like Michael Penix Jr.'s game. I wish he was a little younger. Obviously, we all do. You know, he's 24. We're about to turn 24, however old he is. He does have some injury history, but damn if he doesn't deliver an accurate football. Great thrower of the ball. Great season with Washington. And I think he has good weapons in Washington. He'll have great weapons in Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't have a contingency plan at quarterback. You're really going to tell us you're going into the season with Nick Mullins to be the guy? Are you going to be able to bring back Kirk Cousins coming off of a season-ending injury? I don't know. And Jaren Hall is not the guy. You obviously haven't played him, and obviously the Josh Dobbs experiment was fun while it lasted, but that's over too. I think Penix is somebody you give him 5 years with this offense, and they could really go for 5 years. Then he'll hit 30, which is crazy, and then you start figuring something else out. But on his rookie contract, I think you take a shot on Michael Penix Jr., and I think he will pay dividends quickly. He's very pro-ready. I think he'll be really good in that offense. Next up, Denver here. Just kind of lucks into a top talent. Not really at a position of need for them, but this guy's not falling any further. It's Brock Bowers. I think Troutman was their number one tight end per their depth chart. I'm going to pull it up quick. Adam Troutman, and then Lucas Kroll. I know, guys, it's not sexy. It's a tight end at pick 12. Brock Bowers is the best tight end prospect we have seen in a long time. Better than Kyle Pitts was coming out. Better than Dalton Kincaid was last year. Better than Sam Laporta coming out as a prospect. And we all saw the season Sam Laporta just had. I think that he could have a very, very good season with the Broncos. Whoever's at quarterback, they've got other weapons. Like you can lure in a good quarterback with those weapons and a good offensive line and Sean Payton. Just have to figure out the quarterback's position. And I'm not drafting one at 12 when the best available is probably McCarthy or Bo Nix. No, thank you. On the clock, Las Vegas Raiders need a QB, need a lot of things. Quarterback, running back, offensive lineman. So the only thing they don't have listed here, it looks like, is wide receiver. That's funny. I think that most important for them would be edge rusher. And I like Dallas Turner a lot. I like Dallas Turner's game. Explosive off the edge. Pair him up with Max Crosby. And you've got two great edge rushers going at the quarterbacks. You're in the AFC West with good quarterbacks. You're going to have to get after them. Game plan for that. Max Crosby's a monster. Dallas Turner could be great opposite side. He'll get a lot of one-on-ones because focus will be on Crosby. I like that pick a lot for them. New Orleans Saints. Ryan Ramczyk. A cartilage deficiency. Something is wrong with his leg. I don't love that. You've got a draft to fix that. And where is this guy at? How far down do they have him? There he is. Okay. Marius Mims. You could go between two, Talise Fuaga out of Oregon State or Amarius Mims, and I wouldn't hate either of them. I just like Amarius Mims a little bit more as a prospect, not for any particular reason other than I like that he was at Georgia and he did the dang thing at Georgia. Power running game, I like him. I just like him more in the Saints offense, not necessarily like that he's a much better prospect than Fuaga is. I just like Amarius Mims a little bit more. Colts at 15 here, and I love that he fell to them. Jared Verse, edge rusher, Florida State. He was considered a top 5 pick going into this year. A little bit down on the production, but let's look at it real fast here. Still an 83 grade, still ended up with 11 sacks, 14 hits, and 35 quarterback hurries. He's still very, very good, guys. He's still a great edge rusher, something that the Colts need desperately. I love Jared Verse at pick 15 to continue to build up that defense. Pick 16, Seattle on the clock. Seattle, where could they go? They need a guard, a center, and an edge rusher. No. I could see them going Braylon Trice here. As a matter of fact, they're going to go Braylon Trice here. Braylon Trice has been real good for Washington this year. He has flown up draft boards. Ended the season with 8 sacks, 16 hits, 53 hurries. So he was always just a step slow. But he has been very, very solid for them. And I like him going to Seattle. He has to stay right there at home. I think that's a good pick for them. Jacksonville on the clock. I think they go corner here. I think they need a corner. They got DB listed, guard, center, edge, DB. And I think it's pick one of these three, Nate Wiggins, Terrion Arnold, or Kool-Aid McKinstry. I'm more of a Kool-Aid McKinstry guy. An 88.8 grade, allowed 19 catches on 39 targets. That's great. Only 1 touchdown all season. He's got all the measurables you would want, and he's got a fantastic first name. It's Kool-Aid. Come on. I know it's not really his first name, but that's what he's listed as here. Big fan of that pick for the Jags, who desperately need cornerback help. Bengals here, getting an absolute great pick, in my opinion, who I haven't seen on here. Where is he at? Whoa, okay. That's disrespectful. Keon Coleman's going to be a first-rounder, guys. Spoiler alert. I know PFF maybe doesn't think so. Keon Coleman is going to be a first-round pick, and he's going to be the first-round pick of the Bengals, who just fill right into that. Just fill that wide receiver room. Oh, we just lost our boy. We're going to lose T. Higgins probably in free agency. Just replace him right there with Keon Coleman. I think that's a great pick for them. I'd be very happy to see that happen. Green Bay on the clock. They need running back, tackle, D-line, safety, according to PFF. I'm going to give them Johnny Newton here. Someone to push the interior with Kenny Clark. They've got, Leighton Vander Esch earlier last year. I know I would love them to take a weapon of some sort, but you know that they don't do that. They're going to go defense. I thought about Cooper DeJean there, but I'm actually going to go with Green Bay taking Johnny Newton. Pick number 20, we've got Tampa Bay on the clock here, and I'm going edge rusher, and I've got one specific one in mind that just feels like a Tampa Bay edge rusher to me. It's Chop Robinson out of Penn State. Big fan of his game. He could be really good for Tampa Bay. I mean, he was injured most of this year, it looks like, missed a lot of time. That being said, they've got some edge rushers getting old. They need edge rushers. They need a little bit of everything, according to PFF, too. But I like Chop Robinson at pick number 20. Arizona on the clock, and this one I don't think Arizona fans may like, but I think I could see it happening. J.J. McCarthy. I think they might go J.J. McCarthy at QB. Hear me out. They got Kyler Murray, right? He's 5'10". He's a scrambler. Their offensive line is not ready yet, and they just got a weapon in Malik Neighbors. I don't think J.J. McCarthy's a first-round quarterback. I want to get that out there. But I think NFL teams might think he is because of the season he just had at Michigan. Some people think he could be one of the best Michigan quarterbacks ever, and it's like, okay, pump the brakes here. But he's put up the numbers. There's no denying that. He's had a really, really good season. And he's currently, as I'm recording this, playing in the national championship game. I think that he's going to get pushed up boards, and Arizona with 2 first-round picks is going to take a shot. And I think Arizona would be happy going with J.J. McCarthy. And then, let's see, pick number 22. We've got the Rams here, and I think they take cornerback Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. Big fan of Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. Not because he has a great first name, of course, but look at the numbers. I mean, they targeted him 41 times. He allowed 18 catches on the year, only 176 yards, 1 touchdown. He picked him off twice. When targeting him, quarterbacks passer rating of 44.4. That's awesome. He was very, very good for Clemson this year, flowing up draft boards. Big fan of his game as well, which leads us right into Pittsburgh's pick. And I'm going, the fall stops here with Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean is going to be very, very good, I think. I think they need to play him at safety, though. I think they put him at safety, let him be a Swiss Army knife defensive back right alongside Minkah Fitzpatrick. Don't put him out there on the perimeters. Don't be stupid. But I think he's going to test great at the combine. He's got good football IQ, good defensive back to have. Him and Minkah back there can do it all. I think those are 2 guys that would be great together, and give them to Mike Tomlin. He'll do something with them. Mike Tomlin will have those boys humming on the back end. Big fan of Cooper DeJean. I wish he would go earlier, truthfully, but I like him to Pittsburgh. Pick 24, your Miami Dolphins, and big fan of this big boy, Talise Fuaga. Awesome offensive tackle. And do you expect him to start at tackle? Maybe not. Obviously not. Obviously, the plan wouldn't be to start him at tackle. But we've had a history of doing this. We did it most recently with Laremy Tunsil. Draft him as a tackle, start him at guard, and then when it's his time, kick him out to tackle. Hopefully you don't need him at tackle. Hopefully Teron Armstead stays healthy all year next year, which is something he's never done. And Austin Jackson's looked great this year at right tackle, enough to get his extension in. We need offensive linemen. I think Talise Fuaga is the best one available at that spot. Next up, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles on the clock here, and I think that they probably go with Terrion Arnold. Their back end has been beat up all season long. They can't stop anybody passing against them. I mean, they just gave up a shit ton of points to Arizona, lost to the Giants. I mean, they completely fell apart at the end of this year. Terrion Arnold, I think, can be a stud in the league. I really think he might end up being better than Kool-Aid McKinstry. Ended up with 5 picks. Did get targeted a lot more than Kool-Aid, so do with that what you will. But, 80 targets essentially and 40 receptions and passer rating of 50 against him. Great season from him. Played a ton of snaps. He's got a high motor. Really, really good corner. So I like Terrion Arnold at 25 to Philadelphia. Next up, Kansas City. Get ready for this one, guys. You're going to hear this one a lot. He's sitting here staring you in the face. It's going to be Brian Thomas Jr. to the Chiefs. What's the Chiefs' biggest problem this year? It's drops. It has been drops. They cannot hold on to a ball. This guy is a stud. He is 6'4". He's got really good hands. Ended up this year with 68 catches for almost 1,200 yards and 17 touchdowns. Him and Rashee Rice together would be really good. Put Lil Sky Moore in the slot, and you've got some receivers that maybe can do something for you. Kadarius Toney's got to be out the door. These guys with all these drops have got to go. We've got to figure that out, and I think Brian Thomas would be a great one to slide in there. You're going to see that mocked a lot. Brian Thomas is going to be a Kansas City Chief. If I could lock in one pick, it's Brian Thomas at whatever pick the Chiefs end up with. 27, Houston. Houston needs a wide receiver. Probably pretty bummed that Brian Thomas just went. But there are still some good receivers on the board. Let's go over here real quick. I like Lad McConkey. I like Emeka Egbuka. Do I like him enough for him to go here to Houston? I do. I'm going to go Emeka Egbuka. Guys, at the beginning of the year, like before the season even started, I did a mock draft. Emeka Egbuka was considered a top 15 player in this class. This season, we only played 10 games, a little banged up, ended up with 41 catches for 60 yards. The Ohio State offense just wasn't humming the way it has been with C.J. Stroud. Egbuka is a very, very talented wide receiver. I like that pick for them a lot. They need somebody to go out there. Nico Collins was amazing this year. Tank Dell was really good, but he'll be coming off of an injury. Just get C.J. Stroud, his boy, in Emeka, and we go. Simple as that. Next up, Detroit on the clock here. They need secondary help. They need defensive help really badly. I'm surprised they don't have secondary listed here. I'm going Cam Kitchens for them. Just a do-it-all safety. I like his game a lot out of Miami. Not the best year for him for sure as a safety. 52 tackles, 10 missed tackles. I think he's going to be good, though. I like his intangibles a lot. I think he will be solid in the league. 6 foot, 205. I like him going to Detroit. Detroit needs to take the best defensive back available, and I think that he's the best one on the board, truthfully. And I think you just move him around however you need to. That's what I would do with him. Buffalo on the clock, pick number 29. Also could use a corner. Could use a lot of things, according to this: wide receiver, tackle, D-line, linebacker, and DB. Where to go with them? Do we go Ennis Rakestraw here, who's really flown up draft boards? The passer rating against him was really good. He did only allow 18 catches. 6 foot, 188. They've struck out on corner picks recently. Let me see if I don't like Rakestraw, guys. I don't know why he's flying up boards. I'm not a big fan of his game. I think I like Quinion Mitchell more. Either Quinion Mitchell or Kalen King. Quinion Mitchell, yes, you can talk about the competition all you want, but he was really good this year. 6 foot, 196. Played every game in the last 3 years. Not injury prone. Awesome PFF grade here. 27 receptions on 62 targets. No touchdowns allowed in a pick. I think he'll be kind of a sneaky good pick here, and I'm going with him for Buffalo, who missed on their last high first-round pick in Kyer Elam, who doesn't even see the field for them. I think Quinion Mitchell's a great pick here. Next up, Dallas on the clock, and this is where your first linebacker is going. And it's not Edgerrin Cooper. Oh, Jeremiah Trotter, they've got him low here. I don't know about all that. Man. He's been good for them. He is a good linebacker. I'm a big fan of Jeremiah Trotter's game. 6 foot, 230. They need a linebacker. He's my guy. Maybe that's a reach. I don't know. According to PFF, that's a reach. I don't think it's a reach. I think he'll end up being a first-round player. They need linebacker help. Leighton Vander Esch has been banged up the last several seasons. They need somebody they can rely on, and that's Jeremiah Trotter. I really like his game a lot. I think Dallas would be in a great spot if they were to take him here. And the way the board's fallen, there's nothing else that really jumps out at me that I love for them anyways. So that's where I'm going with it. Next up, San Francisco and Baltimore, the 2 Super Bowl favorites here. Really, it's just kind of best player available, in your opinion. Obviously, neither of these teams will be taking a quarterback because they don't need one. They don't need Troy Franklin. I don't like Chris Braswell that much. Man. They need O-line and corner. Troy Fautanu still on the board is insane. I can't believe he's fallen all this way, man. I'm giving him Troy Fautanu. I like Troy Fautanu's game a lot. I think I actually just sort of forgot about him a little bit. I did have him going earlier in my notes that I took here, but the way the board's fallen, I just happened to kind of move some things around. Troy Fautanu will be a first-rounder probably earlier in this. That's a bit of an oversight by me. I just forgot that he was on the board, and they just had him further down than I thought. Kingsley Suamataia being this far down. Man, me and PFF disagree on a few players here, which isn't always ideal when you're disagreeing with the guys who do this for a living. But I like Troy Fautanu a lot. I'm a big fan of his. 72 grade, 2 sacks allowed, 2 hits, a few hurries. Very, very good tackle. 6'4", 317, all the size in the world. Pick 31, man, there's your Trent Williams replacement in a couple of years when he finally hangs him up. That's a great pick for them. Man, that is a steal. And then Baltimore on the clock here. Baltimore needing wide receiver, D-line, and corner. I don't think there's any – I don't like Ennis Rakestraw. He's not a first-round corner. I like JT Tuimoloau, though. He gave Olu Fashanu everything he could handle and then some. I'm going JT Tuimoloau to finish out the first round of this draft for Baltimore. I think he is going to be really good. At the end of the first round, you take kind of a swing on a good edge rusher here, and I like his game. I like his game a lot. So JT Tuimoloau, man, I think the Niners and Ravens both had great picks. Nice, good for them because they need the help, right? But that's it for the first round of the mock draft, in my opinion. This is, I think, how if there were no trades allowed and everyone had to pick at their spot, I think this is how a lot of teams would go based on how the board fell. A couple of flyers here. J.J. McCarthy, a bit of a flyer. Emeka Egbuka, maybe a bit of a flyer. Same with Quinion Mitchell and Cam Kitchens. Towards the end here, you're looking for guys with high upside. You're going to have the low floor, high ceiling guys, and those are the ones you take a swing on. So that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know in the comments down below what picks you liked, what picks you hated. If you liked your team's pick, you didn't like your team's pick, and where you would have gone differently. And I will see you guys in the next one.